My name is Carly Burgett. I grew up with my mom, dad, and younger sister in a small town on the southeast side of Indianapolis. My mom is German and Polish, and my dad is German and Irish. We are very family-oriented, so I spend a lot of time with my extended family from Shelbyville, Indiana. Many big events in my life have been around the church. Events such as my baptism, First Communion, and confirmation were significant in my life, a tradition carried on from my grandparents. This is a book called Grandmother, a record book of memories. I'm going to talk about this book and the significance it has to me and my family. I got it from my grandma for my first Christmas in 1998. She bought one of these books and filled it out for each one of her 8 granddaughters. I have a special connection with my grandma. We share a middle name, which is Anne. My grandma has always been very supportive of me and makes me feel special. This book is full of pages of questions that a child may ask their grandma, such as questions about family history, family members, holiday traditions, and favorite pastimes and memories. She included pictures as well, with captions describing what was in the picture so I can see what my great-grandparents and great-aunts and uncles looked like when they were younger. She also included images of her home and the home my mother grew up in. All my family knows the story of how my grandparents met. My grandpa caught my grandma's eye when he was carrying a huge teddy bear he had won at the fair. The teddy bear he won was a big blue bear my cousins and I grew up playing with. This book personally connects to my family and I because it tells how my grandpa from Indiana and my grandma from northern Michigan ended up living in Shelbyville, Indiana. My grandpa is a farmer and he ran a seed business in Shelbyville, so my grandma moved to Indiana to be with him. She included stories so I can learn about my mom's childhood. I learned how she grew up and how she met my dad. Music was a big part of my grandma's life, as well as mine. My grandpa's dad played the violin, and her brother was in a polka band called the Gaylord Polka Kings. Her brother Johnny also played the violin. I started playing the violin when I was in 6th grade, and I continued until my senior year of high school, but I still play at home for my own enjoyment. I never met my great-grandpa, but I feel a connection with him because of our love for the violin. When my grandma hears me play, she feels a close connection to her father and her brother in Gaylord. There are so many stories and memories told in this book that share my family's history and how I ended up here in Indianapolis. This book represents my family's background. This book has always been very special to me. My grandma spent a lot of time answering the questions so we can learn about our family's history. I will pass this book down to my children, and hopefully they will continue to pass it down so their children can learn from my family's past. Sadly, there have been some events in my life that are showing me the importance of writing down memories. My grandpa has Alzheimer's. His memory is starting to fade, and he's beginning to forget important events that have happened in his life. Books like this can help keep memories of the family alive. My cousin passed away before he could meet his son Brennan. As soon as he passed, we tried to write down memories that we could later share with his son. Books like this would be perfect for Brennan, so we can learn about his dad. This book signifies moments. It is a reminder to me to write down events so when I have a family of my own, I can share memories of my childhood. My grandma continues to record memories for each one of her 14 grandchildren in scrapbooks. We all love sitting upstairs at her house and looking through the pictures, smiling and laughing at the memories. I will always have memories and stories from my grandma written in these books. I will always cherish it. To me, this book is more than stories about my grandma and her life. It defines my life and how I grew up. It gives me a relationship with family members I never met or was too young to remember. It brings me back to my grandma's childhood and allows me to see how my childhood compares to hers. This book is one of the most important material possessions I have because it defines my family and I. It's our story.